So regarding the student loan debt forgiveness, people are just going after Karine Jean-Pierre, Jen Psaki, Joe Biden. You got Florida Governor Ron DeSantis here coming after Joe Biden once again. We had a video clip of him the other day going after Joe Biden on his student loan debt forgiveness. Now he's slamming President Joe Biden for his plan to bail out a large number of Americans from having to pay back a substantial portion of their student loans. Again, anybody under $125,000 is going to get $10,000. And for Pell Grant, it's $27,000. So we got Ron DeSantis here, again, doing yeoman's work pretty much like Peter Doocy, calling out Joe Biden for basically pushing this through and screwing over a certain sector of America.
Obviously, the fairness and all that is very important, but it's not a good fiscal or monetary policy. And so you see that. But then you also have the fact that they're doing that with zero reform to the universities and the loans and everything that's happened that's clearly way, way out of whack. And then, I think this is still important. Some people may not care as much. He does not have the constitutional authority to do this. It's very unfair, to have a truck driver have to pay back a loan from somebody that got like a PhD in gender studies. That's not fair. That's not right. And so, and then you also just have the fact, like, if you're going to talk about debt, then you should look at, okay, who has benefited the most from all this exorbitant debt that's been taken out over the last generation? It's the universities. They have bloated administrative budgets. They have all this, although in Florida, since I've been governor, no tuition increases at our state universities. We haven't allowed that. Because all it does is they plow it in, and they will expand like the DEI office or something else like that, and it has no real impact on the quality of the education when they're raising the tuition. It just creates more administrative bloat, and that's been going on, and the colleges and universities have gotten a free ride at this. So, my view is if you're going to do some type of student loan, relief, it's not really relief because people are still paying for it, but the people that should pay for it is not the American taxpayers. It should be the universities should be responsible for that. If they're producing people that went deep into debt and their degree is not worth anything and they're not able to make enough money to pay it back, well, then that's on them. And they've had an incentive to get more and more loans taken out and then put it in their pocket. So we should look at these.
So as much as I love Ron DeSantis, I don't fully agree with that idea, even though I said previously that universities should pay for it. I think there is some truth to that, which is why I mentioned it. The issue is not necessarily just the universities, but more on an individual level of you as an individual that chose to do it, take out that loan, are responsible. And like I said on the show yesterday, where does that thinking end in terms of, well, we need to relieve people of their debt that they have for universities because when they got out of the pandemic, well, they were all kind of screwed up in terms of financial because of everything that went on. Well, why doesn't it apply to your finances for your car in terms of you financing the vehicle, your RV, your boat, your mortgage? Like, why are we just so hyper focused on our student loan debt? There's a lot of people that have mortgages. Why are we not paying that off as taxpayers? So that's again, it just the linear logic of it all just doesn't make any sense. So again, I think it shouldn't just be left up to the universities. More so, it should be left up to the individuals. The next line would be the universities. But like I said, you're required to pay off your own debt. I'm not required to pay it off at all. If you want to do some charity or something like that and do some sort of fund where you want to raise money for a family that's struggling, again, that's already built into the cake. That's already something we can do as a society and have done as a society and still do as a society.
Universities, but what Biden is doing, it's going to cause more inflation, which is what you just had one of Obama's economists come out and say. This is the worst time to do this. It's going to fuel inflation. This is not good policy. Obviously, the fairness and all that is very important, but it's not a good fiscal or monetary policy. And so you see that. But then you also have the fact that they're doing that with zero reform to the universities and the loans and everything that's happened that's clearly way, way out of whack. And then, I think this is still important. Some people may not care as much. He does not have the constitutional authority to do this. He is.
If you enjoyed this video, hit.
So that's from Blaze TV, folks, that posted that clip of Ron DeSantis. You can also find it on Twitter as well. But he's right. And again, a lot of people are just emphasizing, again, including myself, I'm part of this, emphasizing those that already paid off their loans because we're frustrated. We feel cheated out. And I'm not saying that I'm advocating for student debt forgiveness for myself in terms of now I want to check for the stuff that happened before. I don't want this to be implemented at all. I don't think it's a good thing. And Ron doesn't think it's a good thing. A lot of people that are constitutionalists don't believe it's a good thing. It's going to hurt inflation. And like we keep saying, this debt is just going to reoccur again in 5 years. You're not changing a damn thing. If anything, you're screwing over a lot of people and pissing a lot of people off. Furthermore, they're also talking about how the student debt cancellation plan is going to affect military recruitment. So we have here a veteran, Johnny Joey Jones, that's a tongue twister, reacted to President Joe Biden's plan to cancel student loan debt for Americans making less than $125,000 a year. He said, "I cannot believe I gave 2 legs for my tuition," Jones posted on Twitter, referring to the price he paid while serving as a U.S. Marine to have his college paid for. "What a dope I am," he added. "Oorah." The veteran's tweet quickly went viral, racking up more than 40,000 likes in a matter of hours. Jones lost both legs and suffered serious damage to his right arm, his forearm, and both wrists in 2010 while serving as an explosive ordnance disposal (EOD) bomb technician in Afghanistan. The Fox News contributor was not the only one to express some feelings about Biden's announcements. As reported by the Daily Wire, others online called the move to cancel student debt effing insanity and a real slap in the face for those who paid off their debts and opted to not take out loans they couldn't afford. All this means people can start finally to climb out from under the mountain of debt, Biden claimed in his remarks to the White House on Wednesday, to finally think about buying a home or starting a family or starting a business. And by the way, when this happens, the whole economy is better off. Don't you just love that of going like, now that we got you out of debt, now you can start thinking about starting and buying a home or starting a business and go back into debt. Because a lot of times, if you're buying a home, what are you going to get, folks? A 30-year fixed mortgage. If you're lucky, you're doing a 15-year fix. So you're just going to go back into debt. I mean, realistically, $10,000 isn't that much. If you only have $10,000 saved to buy a home, financially, probably not a good thing. You want around 20% if you're going to opt in to buy a home. That's kind of the general rule of thumb. If you don't have it, go, well, Brad, that sounds crazy. It's not crazy, you guys. You just have to save up for about a while or a decade and work multiple jobs. Nobody said it was easy. It's going to be hard, but that's the way and route you want to do it. If you're only putting 1 to 3% down, not a good idea at all in terms of finances and financially for the future. So I just love that aspect. They're like, oh, now that you have a whole bunch of forgiveness, just go take out more debt. Just lovely. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.